Morning, I'm Abhyuday Shrestha, and these are the headlines for this hour. Victims of Sunday's rainstorm in Bara's southern parts received relief items 4 days after the incident. Zinc sheets brought to Birganj for earthquake victims 2 years back wasted in storage. The third summit of justices kicked off in the capital yesterday. The three-day summit to carry out discussions on constitution, state code of conduct, among others. British Parliament votes by a majority of 1 to force Prime Minister Theresa May to ask for an extension to the Brexit process in a bid to avoid any no-deal scenario. And Manchester City moved back above Liverpool at the top of the English Premier League, defeating Cardiff 2-0. "200 families affected by Sunday's devastating rainstorm in Rampurwa and Suvarnapur of Devtal rural municipality in southern Bara finally received relief items yesterday. The victims received vegetables, beaten rice, instant noodles, mosquito nets, tents, sleeping mats, drinking water, among other relief items. Majority of the houses have been damaged by Sunday's storm, and the locals were compelled to spend nights under open sky due to the delay in providing relief items. Likewise, 2 people lost their lives due to the rainstorm. Majority of the authorities are concentrated at the Feta rural municipality in Bara district. However, there are still other places equally affected by the rainstorm. The provincial government and the centre have been providing relief to those who have become homeless due to Sunday's devastating rainstorm in Bara and Parsa districts. The need of the hour for the victims is now permanent shelter. The zinc sheets collected for the earthquake victims 2 years ago at the cost of 300 million rupees have been sitting idle in Birganj, and no one has time to think about how they can make use of those sheets. In the settlements of Bara and Parsa districts devastated by Sunday's rainstorm, a few tents were put up yesterday for the victims as temporary shelter. The houses damaged by the devastating rainstorm is no less than those damaged by the April 2015 earthquake. The victims of the rainstorm are now awaiting for permanent shelters. The government doesn't seem to have a long-term plan to rehabilitate those who have been homeless due to the natural disasters. The zinc sheets collected for the earthquake victims of the 2015 earthquake have been rusting at the godowns of Food Corporation in Birganj. It would be wise to make use of these zinc sheets to help the victims of the devastating rainstorm in Bara and Parsa to construct permanent shelters. The severe thunderstorm, accompanied by hailstones and strong winds, left a massive trail of destruction in Bara and Parsa districts. The storm uprooted trees and brought down power lines and telephone poles as well. Despite the management of temporary shelters now gaining momentum, the risk of health hazards caused by the poor condition of sanitation poses larger threats in the aftermath of the disaster. We have a field report by our colleague Prarambha Dahal.
Finally, after days since the disaster first struck, the resettlement and rehabilitation with temporary shelters for the victims is gaining momentum. We saw personnel from Nepal Police, Armed Police Force and Nepal Army help build these temporary shelters that we are quite familiar with because we've seen them during the earthquake as well. So the temporary shelters are being built for people who were compelled to live under open spaces in this kind of situation where it's so dusty, and the pollution also, because people are eating at the same place. The waste is not being well managed, which is increasing the risk of more diseases and ailments. So finally they will have a proper place to sleep tonight. As the police personnel have been, we've been talking to, have informed that they're trying to address the issue of temporary shelters for the victims as soon as possible. The risk of them suffering from further diseases would obviously decrease. Meanwhile, we've also had medical teams from different private hospitals from this local region and even from Kathmandu. They are here with their mobile teams to address any health-related ailments of the victims, because after disaster, there's more risk of a lot of disease being spread, as medical doctors have already said to us. And we also have the team from Nepal Police who are trying and helping the victims have a proper place to eat, proper place to dispose the waste. They have temporary toilets as well set up, but the problem still persists in terms of pure drinking water. And to add to that, the facilities to dispose the waste have not been well maintained, and it is quite very smelly. People are compelled to live in a very smelly and polluted space in this devastated, in fact, the disaster-affected area. So. However, as the days go ahead, police and other security departments have said that efforts will be made to ensure that any untoward incidents or any untoward diseases or any health-related ailments may not increase. So that is the situation out here. It's almost about time for people to eat in groups, and yes, since we spoke to them, they've said they would rather like a proper place to dispose the waste materials, and also the pure drinking water is the major issue. So we'll be talking to them, and we'll be reporting more on this issue as this progresses. With Sanjay Luitel in camera, Prarma Dahal, Kantipur News.
Welcome back. The third Summit of Justices kicked off in the capital yesterday with the slogan "Freedom and Good Governance in Judiciary." Majority of the participants and guests, including the president and government officials, were mostly concerned about cleaning the reputation of the judiciary, with a few of the officials exchanging arguments on the issue at the stage itself. Addressing the attendees of the event, President Bidya Devi Bhandari hinted that the judiciary had failed to head towards a right direction, and that freedom to the judiciary should help with its virtue rather than provide immunity to the justices. The president insisted it is necessary to keep the judiciary controversy-free. Meanwhile, President of Nepal Bar Association, Sher Bahadur Kesi, stated the judiciary should be free from government influence. Law Minister Bhanu Bhakta Dhakal immediately put forth his argument. As majority of the participants focused on the need to establish good governance in the judiciary, Chief Justice Cholendra Samsher Rana stated the investigations initiated over justices as a first step. The three-day summit is to carry out discussions on the Constitution and the state's Code of Conduct, raising the public's trust on the judiciary and the 5-year plan. 2 officers from the Department of Survey will be climbing Mount Everest to remeasure its height. They will depart to remeasure the height of the world's highest mountain in the second week of April. The department has said that 65% of the groundworks have already been completed. The government of Nepal started the works to remeasure the height of Mount Everest after speculations that the height of the 8,848-meter high mountain could have changed after the effects of the April 2015 earthquake in the country. 2 employees from the Department of Survey are preparing to climb Mount Everest, since they have to reach the top of the mountain to remeasure its height. Chief Survey Officer Kim Lal Gautam and Survey Officer Rabin Karki are making preparations to climb the highest peak on Earth next week. Both Gautam and Karki have already taken training in mountaineering ahead of their departure. Although the Bay of Bengal is the starting base point of Mount Everest, the Department of Survey only started the measuring works from Siraz Madar, since India had already measured the height up to Jayanagar. The department says the leveling works up to Solukhumbu's Patale have been completed. According to the department, out of the 285 survey points needed for the measurement, which are spread in Solukhumbu, Songkhwasava, Bhojpur and Khotang, the survey of 230 points have already been completed. The survey conducted by Survey of India 65 years ago had determined the height of Mount Everest to be 8,848 meters. After that, the survey done by the United States of America 2 decades ago found the height to be 8,850 meters, while a survey conducted by China 14 years ago found 2 different heights of 8,844 and 8,847 meters. The Department of Survey has been conducting the measuring works for a year now after speculations that the height of the 8,448-meter high mountain could have changed due to the effects of the April 2015 earthquake. The department, which started the measuring works a year ago with a budget of 250 million rupees, has completed 65% of the groundworks. The department is preparing to announce the new height of Mount Everest within 9 months. Welcome back. It has been almost a year and a half since the provincial level elections were held. However, the Provincial Assembly of Province 5 has not been able to decide on its name and capital yet. In this context, we had asked the lawmakers of Province 5 who are in Palpa, what is the cause for the delay? Let's take a look at what they had to say.
Public voice.
सहमतिय हिसाबले सर्वसम्मत रूपमा पास गर्ने गरी प्रोसेसमा जाउँ भन्दाखेरि अब समिति बनायो त्यसको संयोजक त्यसका कार्यविधि गर्दाखेरि ढिलाइ भइरहेको छ
12वटा जिल्लामा गएर प्रत्येक सुझाव संकलन टोलीले सुझाव संकलन लिएर आएर त्यो सुझाव संकलनको प्रारम्भिक प्रतिवेदन अब हामी प्रदेश सभामा बुझाउँदै छौं अब यो त प्रक्रियामै छ
12वटा जिल्लाको सेन्टरमा हुनुपर्छ
सभामुखज्यूले 3 महिनाको थप अलिकति हतारले नगरौं यसो निर्णय छलफल गरेर नै गरौँ भन्ने विषय भएर नै 3 महिनाको थप लिइराखेको छ यो नामाङ्कनको लागि अब हुन्छ
सुझाव संकलनहरू भइरहेको छ काम हुन्छ आशावादी छौं हामी अब छिट्टै यो प्रदेशको राजधानी र नामाकरणको टुङ्गो लाग्ने छ
रुष्टमा बोल्दा धेरै मान्यज्यूहरूले नाम चाहिँ लुम्बिनी नै रहनुपर्छ भन्ने आशय छ त्यसमा खासै विवाद छैन खास गरी राजधानी थाई राजधानीको विषय हो पारी लैजानलाई बहुमत पनि छैन हुवारी राख्नलाई 2/3 पनि छैन मूल कुरो यसैमा चाहिँ अड्किरहेको छ
And it's time now for our segment Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion.
Public Pulse.
And here's the question. Why has the government not distributed the zinc sheets collected for the earthquake victims? Your options are A, lack of sensitivity, B, lack of management, and C, no demand from victims. The voting is on. Type NEWS, select your option A, B, or C, and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. And it's time now for the sports news.
Sports news.
Manchester City moved back above Liverpool at the top of the English Premier League, defeating Cardiff 2-0. An 8th successive league win for the defending champions was seldom in doubt and means they lead Jurgen Klopp's team by a point with 6 games remaining. Pep Guardiola's side, who are chasing an unprecedented quadruple, know they will finish at the top if they win their remaining matches, but it is unlikely many of them will be as straightforward as this one. Kevin De Bruyne took just 5 minutes to open the scoring with his first league goal since 22nd of December. More Manchester City possession and chances followed before Leroy Sané made it 2-0 just before halftime in the 44th minute. In another match, Tottenham celebrated the official opening of their magnificent new £1 billion stadium with a crucial 2-0 victory over Crystal Palace to cement their place in the Premier League's top 4. South Korean Song Heung-min and Christian Eriksen scored a goal each for the home side. In another match played last night, Chelsea saw off Brighton 3-0. And that's all for the moment. Keep watching Kantipur Television HD for more news and entertainment. Thank you for watching. Have a good morning.